So, you know, as the story goes, before we actually got together and you were still playing at Georgetown, we kind of started working on what could be a shoe for you, and it was just the first stages of the question. But then once we actually partnered, we got to show you the shoe. And so what was it like going from college to getting drafted to now all of a sudden you're going to have your first signature shoe? I know it was always a dream. What do you remember about just like your first shoe getting out there?
I remember you showing me the shoe, and it didn't really matter what it looked like. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't even matter. You know, just the fact of it being my shoe was enough for me. You know what I mean? It could have been anything, basically. But then seeing the shoe made it that much better. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I liked the shoe off top. And, you know, I remember used to talk to my teammates in Georgetown, and they used to ask me, man, do you think you're gonna have your own shoe and all that? And I'm like, I don't know. You know, hopefully, you know, something like that will happen for me. But, you know, it was so far-fetched. Like, it was like, I don't think nothing like that would, you know, actually come true to whereas I had my own sneaker. I just remember being so excited and calling everybody like, you know, I got my own shoe, this is what it looked like. You know, I remember taking pictures of it and, you know, just showing everybody the shoe. It was just an incredible feeling.
You know, this first ad wasn't scripted where you talked about just the joy of having your own shoe. Like, a lot of ads we did weren't scripted because it was just we were experiencing the newness with you for the first time. You know, like, we didn't even script that first commercial, like documentary style, where you talked about opening the box for the first time. You know, a lot of stuff in the beginning was just your genuine emotion, and we just kind of like went with it.
That was the genius of Reebok, though. That's, you know, that's what made the brand sell, because, you know, it was authentic. It was all original. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing wasn't too much scripted. You know what I mean? Everything was freestyle. Everything was, this is who he is, this is what he is, and we're gonna market that. You know what I mean? And that's what you know, that was that's what made it so unique.
I remember one of the things that was the craziest about it was when we put the first 5,000 pairs in Philly, and kids were driving up from Virginia, from DC to go to Philly to get the shoe. We only could put out so many pairs because we were going so fast. I remember it's calling you and telling you, yo, they're all gone. And you were like, huh? And I was like, it's one of the first times this has happened with a rookie, but all the shoes are gone, and the story is about, this is before the internet, so kids really had to find out where to go, you know? And I remember telling you about it, and then I really realized we were onto something special.
That's the best part about it all. You know, you got your own shoe, but seeing somebody else with them on is totally different. And I'm not talking about your family and your friends, you know, because they're going to wear them regardless. But just seeing the fans wear them, and to go even further, the people that's not even fans of you, but like the shoe. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the best feelings ever. You know what I mean? And then the fact that everybody still want them, you know, this many years later, it's incredible.
As a rookie, a lot of players talking to you about the shoe?
Yeah, I mean...
Or veterans didn't want to give you the respect yet to ask you about it?
Well, you know, the older guys, you know how older guys are when it comes to young guys. Yeah. But the guys that came in with me, the guys that were my age, you know, they all thought it was cool. You know what I mean? The fact that I had my own shoe. You know, a lot of guys had contracts with different shoe companies, but didn't have their signature shoe. You know what I mean? So, you know, I kind of stuck my chest out a little bit. Felt a little different.
So we did the white red originally, and then the white blue, and these are the two that everybody really wants because they're the originals. Everyone wants the two authentics. But we also did a lot of others. We did white green that Michigan State won the national championship, Mo Pete and Mateen Cleaves and those guys. And then we did all black, we did black gold. We did so many colorways over the years. Do you have one favorite, since this is voted as one of the greatest basketball shoes in the history of the world, do you, as the guy, have one favorite color?
White red with the leather tip.
The original?
Yes, sir.
What is the emotion when you first saw the first kid in Philly that you didn't know just on the street wearing your shoe? Like, what was that feeling?
The first kid I ever seen with them on, I was in my car, and I remember stopping in the car, and I was, you know, I was looking in the rear view, and I watched him until he walked out of sight. I just couldn't believe, you know, because this was the first time I seen somebody besides my family and my friends with them on. And I mean, it just, my whole world stopped. You know what I mean? I just sat and watched him until he walked out of sight. And just, I remember driving off like, damn, you know, I saw the first person with my sneakers on, you know what I mean? And it was a little young kid. And it's just something that I remember and cherish for the rest of my life. You know, I'll never forget that.
Right now, you have the second longest longevity in the sneaker game.
Right.
And I know we didn't set out for that in '96, but you know, there's a lot of things you'll reflect on in your career. But you know, what do you think about when you think about the fact that you've had, you know, outside of Mike, the most consistency, the most shoes sold, like you're a staple in the shoe game?
Just a blessing.
So it's 2012. And now all of a sudden kids are going crazy for the shoes now. I mean, we've been selling shoes over the years, you know, in the last few years, but now all of a sudden, all over the world, specifically in places like China and the US, like it's 2012 and it's becoming this big thing. You know, and I'm just wondering, like, you know, we talked about the internet and kids being more savvy today and all that, but I mean, what goes through your mind that like there's this huge Allen Iverson resurgence right now? You know, in 2012, and we're going to see it through 13. It's like a whole resurgence in your franchise.
The best part about it all is with not playing basketball or, you know, whatever I'm gonna get into after basketball and still being relevant is a great thing. You know what I mean? For kids to want to wear your shoe regardless. If they don't see you every day, you know what I mean? You know how it is, out of sight, out of mind. People forget very fast. And then, you know, I feel like what I contributed to the NBA and to basketball was so much that it can't be forgotten. And that's one of the best things, you know, about it. Yeah, you know, you're bringing back retro shoes, stuff like that, but just the name being there, and young kids knowing the name, you know. When you see a 5-year-old kid, and I'm 37 years old, and know who Allen Iverson is, right, that's a great thing. Yeah. You're not flashed all over the TV every day, and your name still hold weight, yeah, and your shoes still sell, and you know your brand is still there. You know, it's a great thing, and that's the most exciting part about it. Just knowing that I gave so much to the game and to my culture that I'll always be relevant in people's eyes.
What are that young crop of rookies or guards coming out now? What do they say to you? Like, I know they ask you for your shoes because you never could walk out of arena your last 2 seasons without keeping your shoes. What do they say? Do they thank you? Do they express the influence you had on them?
All they do is thank me for giving them a vision. Young guys say it all the time. You know, I used to wear cornrows. I used to, I got tattoos because of you. You know, I used to try to play like you. I wore the sleeve because of you. I wore your sneakers, this, that, and the third. You know, you made me want to play basketball. When I hear those things, it made me feel so good because I used to be them. Yeah. I feel the same way, and I know that these little guys feel the same way when they meet me. I see how they look at me. I see how nervous they are around me. You know what I mean? And it is a great feeling, you know, just to be a trendsetter. I like to think that me being a basketball player is totally different from me setting trends. You know what I mean? And me allowing or having guys be brave enough to just be them. This is who I am, and that's that. You know what I mean? That's the great part of who I created within myself. You know what I mean? To be myself and let people know that I'm cool with that whole aspect of life, with just being me.
I think the design inspiration around the question was really around making something that was incredibly flashy, something that was going to be seen on court, something that really looked fast even before AI wore them. And I think that the Question does that. The toe is obviously the biggest part of the shoe. We also had Hexalite, which was a big technology at the time to give heel and forefoot cushioning, and that was a big part of the side profile of the shoe. And then we created this really kind of strong speed ghillie lacing system. So it was all really built around a speed guard, whether it be the ghillie system for lacing up, the flashy toe, the Hexalite. It was all built for speed guard. And then the colors were cool in the toe because we did suede, we did pearlized materials, we did patent leathers, and it was all based off of Allen's style. So the shoe really was the ultimate in speed and style, made for that kind of quick guard, and that's obviously what AI is. So it was just, I think with that shoe we caught lightning in a bottle. It was one of the best designs we've ever done as a brand. It was simple, it was cool, and then of course we had one of the fastest, greatest players wearing it. So it was a great shoe.